So we see these patterns. Okay, so I may ask you to describe those patterns, but we've talked about them. We did complete the table, so we did D, E, and F. And so now we're going to make a conjecture or a general rule, right, for A to the 0 power. So they're putting A here, right? So A is just a generic base, right? So when they're putting this A, this is just they're using this as just a placeholder for any base number, right? So any base number, whether that is a fraction or a whole number. So A is just any value. And so whether it's a million or 1 over a million, if something is to the 0 power, right, where A is not 0. Okay, well, if A were 0, right, so they're giving you some requirements. So A can't be 0. Because if 0 times 1, then that would be 0. So that doesn't work. Anything to the 0 power, though, anything else is just going to be 1. So A to the 0 power is 1. Okay? So now let's think about the same thing. We're going to write a general rule for A if it has a negative exponent of n. So again, n is just holding the place of any value. And it says where n is an integer. So remember, an integer would not be a fraction. So, right, anytime that n is a negative number, so this is a little bit of writing things in an algebraic form, but it's just writing it in a way in which you can use it for any situation. If we put actual numbers in here, then it's only for that number, right? This is for any time you have anything that looks like this, but there's numbers in here instead, right? So then what does that mean? That means that, remember, this is repeated division. So I want us to look up here at these examples, right? Notice 3 to the negative 2 became 1 over 3 squared, right? 4 to the negative 2 became 1 over 4 squared, right? So what we're doing is, if you put this expression in the denominator, then you can take away that negative sign, right? So the exponent, whatever the exponent was, stays, right? Just the negative sign, because now you have set it up as division. So remember, whenever it's set up as division, right, then that's what that was indicating. So you would just put 1 over A to the n. Okay, so if you have A to the negative n, that's the same as putting it in a fraction, but in the denominator, because a fraction means division.